In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the 7 testosterone killers. Okay, you have to bring your awareness to these before you even consider testosterone replacement therapy or injections or pills or supplements, because this is a huge industry. I was reading that the testosterone replacement industry is more than $3 billion at this point. And if you are failing to consider these 7 factors, then you will be addressing the symptoms of low testosterone rather than addressing the root cause behind why you have low testosterone in the first place. Okay, so the first testosterone killer is stress. Now, I'm not talking about positive stress, okay? I'm not talking about cold showers or lifting weights, which boost your resilience, because when you put yourself under the short-term stress, it actually boosts your ability to deal with stress in the long term, okay? When you take a cold shower and you're able to get yourself to relax and get calm within it, then you are able to better deal with the stress in your life. You're better able to deal with when someone cuts you off in traffic. You are able to respond and show up as your most empowered self rather than reacting as a victim and letting them have control over your emotional state. Okay, what I'm talking about is distress. Okay, this is basically when the source of all distress in our lives basically comes down to one thing, and that is when our perception of life is different than how life is unfolding right now. Okay, how we think it should unfold is different from how it is actually unfolding, and this is the source of distress in our lives. And first, I would just remind you that who are you to figure out how life is unfolding? Okay, you are only entitled to the action, and the fruit of the action is open to however things play out. Okay, you are only in control of your thoughts, your behaviors. Everything else is outside of your control. Okay, this is the premise of Stoicism, whereby the path to true freedom is to concern yourself with only the things that you have control over. Okay, that is your response. That is how you choose to show up in your life. Okay, so the best thing is really to, first of all, like, I've noticed stress in my own life. For example, I'm out here in Bali right now. I'm staying in an Airbnb, and I'm supposed to check out tomorrow, but I haven't booked a place tomorrow, so I'm like experiencing the stress. But the only place where stress can exist is if I'm not taking action towards getting rid of it. Okay, so if I just went ahead and booked it, or if I found a place and I booked another place for tomorrow, then the stress would not be there. But as I am delaying booking my place, and as I am just not even following through with booking this new place, only in the space of anticipation can stress actually exist. Okay, now 70% of all doctors' visits are related to stress as well. So it's important for you to first and foremost consider whether you are stressing about something that you have control over. If it's not, then just let it go, because you don't have control over. And secondly, if you're stressing over something that you do have control over, then more likely than not, you are procrastinating on something that you need to get done. So that's a call for you to take action right now. Okay. And stress basically just raises your cortisol levels. Cortisol is in opposition to testosterone. So the higher cortisol level is, the lower testosterone will be available, because both of them are steroid hormones, and both of them require cholesterol as a building block. So the more stressed you are, the more you will be producing cortisol, and the less you will be producing testosterone. Okay. Now, the second testosterone killer is your sleep deprivation. Okay, we live in a society which tells us that sleep is for the weak, that you can sleep when you're dead, but the reality is that the majority of your body's testosterone is produced during the deep hours of sleep. Okay, and there are a bunch of studies. I'll link out to a bunch of the studies below in the first comment. But when you are not sleeping well, the next morning your testosterone levels can halve. Okay, this is done in one study where they compared men who were sleeping for 8 hours compared to men who were sleeping for 4 hours, and their testosterone levels were half the next day. Okay, so sleep is definitely a priority for me. It's my number one self-care habit. I know that the nights that I'm sleeping well, the mornings that I wake up the next day, I'm a fundamentally different person. Okay, my mind is on a different level, my body is on a different level, and my mind and body set the foundation for my spirit to express itself through that. Okay, now the third testosterone killer is not going to be coming as a surprise to you, but it's excess body fat. Okay, I was reading that 3 out of every 4 Americans is classified as overweight. Actually, don't quote me on that. I'm not sure about the exact numbers, but it's just immense. Okay, it's crazy. We are at the point in the Western world where more people are dying from eating too much than from not having enough to eat. Okay, so excess body fat is really a danger to your manhood, because body fat produces an enzyme called aromatase, and aromatase converts testosterone into estrogen, and estrogen is making you more feminine. Okay, feminine in terms of how you think, how you feel, how you behave, softer in your body, softer in your emotions, softer in your erections. So definitely get rid of your body fat. Like if you're even thinking about going on testosterone replacement therapy and you have 8 extra inches around your waist, then you are failing to consider the immense room for improvement that you have before getting started on these injections. Before plugging exogenous testosterone into your body has a capacity, but your lifestyle habits are just coupled on top of each other to the point where it's destroying your body's ability to produce testosterone naturally. Okay, so ideally your waist measurement should be about 45% of your height. So you can measure that, compare it to your ideal waist measurement, and that will give you insight towards how many inches you can lose. Okay, this is probably the biggest factor that's killing the majority of men's testosterone levels. Is probably the biggest factor that has led the average man today to have less than half the testosterone levels compared to the average man from a few decades ago. All right, so get on this right now. Compare your ideal waist to your current waist and get started on getting rid of that body fat. Now, the fourth testosterone killer is porn addiction. Okay, now as far as the studies go, the direct correlation between pornography and testosterone is not exactly clear, but the reality is that if you are addicted to porn, if you're addicted to anything, any destructive habit, the reason is because you are trying to fill a void within you. Okay, you're trying to fill a void from the outside, failing to realize that it can only be filled from the inside. I'll link out to another video over here, but the reality is that all of these destructive habits are actually coping mechanism, whether it's to cope with some childhood stress that we went through, whether it is to cope with some unfulfilled potential within us. If we are not having meaning and purpose in our lives, then that is a void which needs to be filled from the inside. We have to get clear on what it is that we want. But when we don't do that, when we lack meaning and purpose in our lives, then we seek stuff from the outside, whether it's a sex addiction, whether it's a porn addiction, whether it's a food addiction, whether it's an alcohol addiction, whether it's a drug addiction. All of these are actually inappropriate substitutes for filling the void of meaning and purpose in your life. Okay, now the next testosterone killer on this list is soy. Okay, now soy gained a lot of popularity because it was something that was consumed by Okinawans in Japan, which are some of the longest living people on the planet. But most of the soy that we have within our foods is genetically modified, and it is packed full of phytoestrogens, which are estrogens, plant estrogens that mimic the effects of estrogen on your body. And of course, you already know that the higher your estrogen levels are, the more feminizing effects will take place in your body. Okay, the lower your testosterone levels will be as a result of that as well. So first and foremost, just avoid processed foods because they are packed full of estrogens. Like the company Soyjoy is actually packing estrogen into everything. I was reading that soybean oil actually accounts for 30% of all calories consumed in the United States. So just keep an eye out for soy and understand that it is not doing your manhood any good. Okay, now the next testosterone killer on this list is vegetable oils. Okay, now just because they have the word of vegetable in them does not mean that they're healthy, because they are actually man-made oils. Whether we're talking about safflower oil, sunflower oil, canola oil, all of these oils contain an omega-6 to omega-3 ratio that is completely out of whack. Okay, omega-6s are inflammatory acids, omega-3s are anti-inflammatory acids, and because these vegetable oils have such a high amount of omega-6s, they are causing chronic inflammation in your body. Higher inflammation means lower testosterone, means higher cortisol, and it means a higher likelihood of you developing the 4 killers in modern society. Okay, heart disease, diabetes, cancer, Alzheimer's, all of these are rooted back to inflammation in your body. And because vegetable oils are causing so much chronic inflammation in the vast majority of people that are consuming them, I would highly suggest that you switch over to an alternative like butter, like ghee, like coconut oil, like olive oil. Okay, all of these oils that come from fruits like avocado oil, they are actually less processed and they are actually more close to the source rather than these man-made oils that are actually being created in a factory. Okay, now the final testosterone killer on this list is, surprise, surprise, alcohol. Okay, now alcohol is a poison. It literally poisons your body, and when you are drinking too much, when you are addicted to alcohol, of course it goes back to the previous point about getting clear on your meaning and purpose in life, because when you're drinking too much, when you become an alcoholic, that is actually an attempt to fill the void of meaning and purpose in your life, which can only truly be filled from the inside when you get clear on what it is that you are here to do. Okay, Now, I can link out to a bunch of studies below, but alcohol damages your testosterone. It's a poison. It causes stress in your body. It causes increases in cortisol. Your body has to recover from it. It disrupts your sleep. So I have nothing against alcohol. I enjoy a glass of wine every now and then, but I have definitely been in this situation where I was drinking as an escape, all right? And as an escape from me, as an escape from my shyness, from my inability to talk to people. And when it is being used as an escape, then you are being used by the alcohol. Okay, like all things, it's a tool. All right, alcohol is great. It can expand your social abilities, it can expand your communication, it can make you loose and open up the doorway for deeper levels of conversation. But when you're drinking too much, then it's really an escape, and it's not doing your body any good. It's not doing your testosterone any good. So just keep an awareness on the amount of alcohol that you are drinking. And as a side note, beer actually contains an ingredient known as hops, which is highly estrogenic. It's actually being studied as given to women with menstruation issues. So it's highly estrogenic. Watch out for beer. Opt for something else other than beer. I love beer. I love a cold beer on a hot day. Like right now, I'm like sweating so much, but I have an awareness on the effects that it's having on my body. All right, there's a difference between doing something with awareness and a lack of awareness. And the purpose of these videos is to increase your awareness so that you can make decisions that are suitable to you. Okay, so I hope you got value from this. These are the 7 testosterone killers which you need to pay attention to, especially if you're considering TRT. Like before you even go down that route, before you even think about going that route, consider these 7 killers before, so that you can improve your own body naturally rather than relying on something externally. Okay, so if you got something new from this video, click a bunch of the buttons below and leave a comment letting me know which one of these testosterone killers is hindering you the most. Leave me a comment below and I'll do my best to help you out. But with all that being said, this has been Saleem, and I'll see you in the next video.